Let's see what we can do with some third-party plugins, specifically right now some of the Nick plugins. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these on a smart object, and I'm going to combine several of them so that we can see how this works. Okay, let's start with this image. This is just a regular flattened image right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a smart object. The way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to right click the layer and say convert to smart object. Okay, now the first thing that I'll do here is I'm going to go in, and I know I want to do something with Nick Color Effects Pro. So let's just go down and see what some of our options are here. And let's use the contrast only filter. I just want to perk this thing up. So you can see it starts out and it tells me that it's going to operate as a smart filter. And I'm going to come in and, well, here it is. It's done what it needs to do. I can change my brightness, I can change my contrast, bring the saturation up a little bit, or I could use any of the filters over here, but we're just going to use this one filter for right now, and I'm just going to say OK. So now this takes me back into Photoshop, and you can see that this filter has been put on as a smart filter. Now what that means is that I can go in and I can change it at any time. We'll look at doing that a little bit later. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another one of the Nick filters. Now I could use it with this one and blend them together, but I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm just going to use the keyboard shortcut Command or Control J. And now I'm going to remove the smart filters from here. Let's just take it and drag it down to the trash. So this is our original image again, and then this is the one that we had modified. This time I'm going to go in, and rather using one of the color effects, I'm going to use silver effects, and I'm going to turn this to black and white. So I just click on the silver effects here. Again, it tells me that it's going to handle it as a smart filter. And I'm going to come in, and you can see I've got all my parameters that I can go with here. I can use an antique plate. I can use the full spectrum. I can do a lot of things here. I think what I'm going to do, let's try something a little different here. Let's maybe go with tintype. And of course I can change the brightness of this if I want, and the structure and everything else. So let's just make a couple of adjustments, and now I'm going to say OK. Now what's going to happen is this filter will render, and it will come in again as a smart filter on the top layer. Now I can't see the bottom through there. You can see the bottom layer is still there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and apply this just to the background. In other words, I want the color of the original leaf to come through. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put a layer mask here on the top layer. And the way that I do that is just click on the layer mask icon, and you can see the layer mask is filled with white. Well, I want to fill it with black so that I can see the underlying image, and I can do that just by hitting Command or Control I and inverting that. So you can see there's my bottom image. Okay, we're going to hide that again. The layer mask is filled with white, and I'm going to paint on the layer mask with black. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint through so that the underlying leaf comes through, so that I have my black and white, or my tintype effect on the background, but the leaf itself comes through as a color image. And we'll just bring that through like that. Okay, now what do I want to do here? Well, let's see. I want to change my bottom image. I think maybe I want something that's a little more bleached out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back down here to my bottom image here, and I'm going to double click on the Color Effects Pro line right in here. And that's going to bring color effects up again and allow me to change this image. So let's just take this and maybe try the bleach bypass. You can see that changed it a little bit. And I'm going to say OK and watch what happens. We're going to come in and we can change that filter. Now, of course, this could have been done after we saved. This could have been done a month from now. But the beauty about working with the smart objects is you can always go back in and adjust or change these filters. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to use the Sharpener Pro. And I want to get this ready for output sharpening. Well, I could go in and apply it to each one of these two layers, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take these two layers, these two smart objects, I'm going to hold my shift key down so that they're both selected, and then I'm going to right click on one of the layers and I'm going to say convert to smart object, and look at what happens. It's going to make a new smart object that contains both of those layers. So now I can go in and I can do my output sharpening on both of those layers simultaneously. And here's my sharpening tool, and I can go around and just find a part of the image that I want to work on, and then I can come up here for my output sharpening, and I've decided, well, let's do this for an inkjet print. Automatic viewing distance. We can pick the kind of paper that we want. Let's go with a textured and fine art paper. And then we set our image width up here to well, 24 inches. That's good. So this image is going to be 16.5 by 24 inches. And all I have to do now is click OK. And now I've got my sharpening so that I can turn that off and on to see what it looks like visually here, but you're really not going to see the beauty of it on the screen. You're going to see the beauty of it when you actually go in and make your print. So what have we done? We've taken some third-party filters, the Nik filters, and we've made smart objects out of them, or use them as smart filters, so that we can go back in and gain a lot of extra ease, a lot of extra use, and a lot of extra flexibility.